welcome back.
It's nice to be back, and I'm very happy to be here with you folks at tonight's show. This is a wonderful place to work, and it's been so long since I've been working, really. I was nervous. I'm a little nervous here.
Well, you're kind of a member of the family, but you're a member that lives overseas. You know, we don't see you often, but you're here for Thanksgiving or during the holidays, you drop in.
One of these days, when California does fall into the ocean, there's a church in Aspen that has a great big huge steeple that is going to be readily made to convert into a lighthouse.
Oh. I hope when that happens, I'm visiting you that weekend.
I hope so too, Ed.
I hope I'm out of the town when that happens. I was going to mention that people come on this show. I don't know whether you're aware of this, but people will come on this show, and part of their appearance will be to plug something. You know, the fact that they've done something important or a new album, something has happened, and they come here and they talk about it, and it usually is a great success for them. But people come here to plug things. Oh, God, do they come here to plug things. And the only reason I bring this up, I wouldn't bring it up, except that our very own Tommy Newsom, out of the band, plucked out of the band, a little saxophone player they plucked out and bought a suit for and put him in front. Now is I won't follow over that. Now is appearing as soloist and guest conductor with the Terre Haute Indiana Symphony Orchestra, Saturday, October 1st. And he used to come in with the others with his little, lunch pail and carry his things, and now look at him.
Have you performed with a symphony before, Tommy?
One time.
Is that right? Well, I would like to do that. I would like to do
It's a gas. It really is a gas in front of a fine.
I'll bet. How many instruments?
About 85, 90 of them.
85.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
He is a fine kid, but he's an excellent musician, as you know. And that's this Saturday, the Indiana Symphony Orchestra. Congratulations, Tom. That's nice.
Thank you.
I think so, too, sir. Yes.
I guess you haven't been doing too much. You've probably been up in the mountain a lot, just hanging around, looking at a tree.
Well, I've looked at several trees lately, not the least of which was that beautiful example you had back there. That was lovely for me on the show. Thank you. I took some time off from work, and I took some time to kind of get away and settle back and make sure I was where I wanted to be and doing what I wanted to do. And I'm happy to say that I am where I want to be and doing what I want to do, and I don't want to change anything. But it was just a nice, relaxing time for me, and it got to be awfully hectic. I've just had some incredible experiences over the past 9 months. I was in Washington, testified in front of Congress in regard to a wilderness bill that's in front of them now, and they made a lot of hoopla about that, and the thing is that any citizen can go and testify in front of Congress when a bill comes up to give your opinion, to say what it is that you feel about whatever they're discussing. And that is how I went as a citizen, and I really enjoyed that and got off on really being able to participate actively in the democratic process. And if I was effective or not, I don't know, but it was really a beautiful experience. I've been up to Alaska this summer. I went on a fishing trip. I flew my plane up there by myself.
Great.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a pilot now, man.
Oh, that's nice. Beautiful. And you made a movie.
And I made a movie.
Tell us about.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
No, I don't want to get started on that.
No. That'll become like Far Out.
Yes. That still hangs with me, you know. Yeah. I cannot go anywhere without somebody coming up and saying, "Hey, Far, leave me alone." You know, the people here are so nice. This is such a beautiful place to work. I mean, first of all, I have not ever had such support from everybody, from the ushers to the people who run the show, on any situation more than you have here at the Tonight Show, and it's really a pleasure to do, especially when you're someone who's not used to doing this. It gets to be very exciting, and it goes right along, and you people are great. I enjoy working with you. Thank you. Oh, yes, thank you, Fred. My first guest is a gentleman who is a comedian, a writer, a director, an actor, a producer. He's done everything in the world in show business, and I had the pleasure of working with him for the first time on this movie that we've mentioned a couple of times called Oh, God. And I found him to be one of the most warm and beautiful human beings that I've ever met, and I love him dearly, and I'm very happy to have him here with me tonight. Mr. Carl Reiner, ladies and gentlemen.
I am so happy.
Are you happy now?
Yes, I'll tell you why I'm happy.
Okay.
Because I've been traveling all over the country saying things about you, and rarely do you get to say things to a person's face. You wrote me a beautiful letter. I just got it 2 days ago. A letter that I will treasure. I really will. It's sitting on my desk, and I read it 2 or 3 times. And for the past week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been to Chicago, New York, and Las Vegas talking about our picture. Oh, God. It's a shame. Unshamefacedly. Is that the word? The other one.
Unashamedly.
Unashamedly.
Yes.
Unashamedly, I will talk about our picture, and I will talk about you. First of all, you said the jury is out on John Denver. The jury has come in, ladies and gentlemen. We've had 3 major previews. Last night we invited the industry, the comedians in the industry, all the comedians who were in town came to see George Burns and John Denver, and oh, God.
So was George there?
George was there. George was there, and even Georgie Jessel was there.
Yeah?
And we had him down from that end all the way to the youngest. And what happened that evening, I wish you had been there to hear. John, you are a major actor. Somebody may take your guitar away and never give it back to you in the motion pictures. You see, well, it won't happen, obviously, because they'll storm the barricades and get it back to you in a minute. But Hollywood may try to do that. They may try to do that because you have become a handsome leading man. You are. Now, let me just tell you things I know about John. There are things I know about John that you don't know. See, first of all, I had never met you before we did the picture.
Yes.
I didn't know you were about 6 feet tall. He's taller. He looks taller than...
Do people tell you that you look heavier on television?
Always.
You know, I have so many people... In fact, I had the other day, I was in San Francisco, I think, and somebody came up to me. We were at a restaurant and said, you know, no, you can't be. He's taller. Are you? And I said, no, I'm taller. She said, you're kidding me. You're not really him. I said, no, he is taller. And it went on for about like, and I don't think she ever really figured out if it was me or not. But television does that, I guess.
Well, the thing that is strange, too, is not only are you taller, but you're handsomer. On the big screen, the more you see of John, the handsomer he gets. Now, I'm one of the few people who have seen all of John, because in the picture, when God comes to visit John, he comes while John is taking a shower. The first time he sees him in person, John sees God in person, George Burns comes into the shower room, and he's taking a shower. I didn't realize you were strong. You know, John Carson is another one of those people who looks like a thin guy. Take their clothes. Would you take your clothes off and show off the bottom? Surprised me. But the main surprise, and there was no surprise after the first day of work, man is a major actor. You are an actor.
Thank you. I don't get that yet. You know, I think that there's potential there, and I certainly would like to do more movies. It was really enjoyable.
Well, you're going to have to...
Were you nervous about working with somebody like me who had never acted before?
Only...
In a picture that obviously meant something to you.
Only before I met you. And the first time I met you, you have such a sense of who you are and yourself. I said, if this man can play who he knows he is, then we've got one of the major new personalities, because the great actors in the motion pictures have always been people who knew how to be themselves. Your Gary Coopers and your Jimmy Stewarts. And I said, if you can do what you're doing right now in the room, and soon the first day on the screen, we saw it. And it was exciting. I'm very excited to be a part of that. I will go down in history as the guy who gave you your first acting direction.
I'm excited, too. I'll tell you, I have tried. You know, movies are so long in being put together and actually getting out there. It's surprising to me how much work goes into that and how much time is involved. And so I've really tried, in regard to this time away from work and everything, to not think too much about the movie. But last Sunday night in Aspen, I got a copy of the film.
Oh, yes?
And we kept the theater open late until midnight. I had all of my friends in Aspen come to see the film. And I wasn't nervous at all. You know, I really figured that that's going to be the most difficult audience that I'm ever going to face. Of my hometown people and friends, the most critical, and also in an area which doesn't, you know, general audience movies, how do you say that?
That's it.
Aren't necessarily their favorite movies in Aspen. They go into some other stuff, mostly. And so I was interested to see how they were going to react. And I wasn't nervous about it at all, which was interesting to me, because the picture is really totally complete. I felt like I did my job, and I'm very excited to see it. But then we saw the movie, you know, and everybody sat there, and they laughed, and I really had the feeling, and so many people came up to me afterwards who were they really enjoyed it, and I'm so happy about that, and so much of that has to do with you. And
I thank you, but I want to say that this is a rare experience for me because not only does the picture work, but it's the first time I've ever been involved with a picture where the studio knows it works. They don't ever know, really. They send it out to sneak previews. They're doing something that I have never heard of before. The best promotion for a motion picture is somebody's mouth, and it's usually an audience's mouth. So what they're doing this Sunday, it's never been done before, a 500 theater sneak preview. It's not a sneak preview, it's a national preview. 500 theaters throughout the country and Canada. 5 days before the picture opens. They're going to open in those theaters with Klieg lights all over the country because they figure that's the best way to spend the money. Get people to see the picture because they're going to talk about it. Yeah. And they've even got a heavenly preview. They got United Airlines to preview it on the airplane.
Oh, no.
They figure that's the closest they'll get to God. They want God to see it.
That's great.
But they know it's going to work. So, John, we may even never get you back to host the Tonight Show. We
can work again.
Too big.
When you go out for seafood, excuse me, Carl.
Where do we go?
Go
screen and I put it there. So you feel, it's like when you dress well. You go to a store, it's all there for you to buy, but you buy the right things. So you feel like a conductor, like Tommy Newson might feel when he's standing in front of those guys. At other times, he probably feels absolutely nothing, right, Tommy? But when you can do that, you feel like you're bringing something to the world. You're responsible for all of it.
But you're also, you're involved in the editing and every aspect of the show, right?
Well, the director stays with the editing till the end.
The thing that amazed me so much is the kind of energy that you lent to what was going on, to everybody. You always had time for every aspect of the show and attention for people when there were problems. You took care of them. You never let anything get to you. And there's so much that goes on. Like, I was amazed in acting about how tense you can get about a scene and nervous. And I was nervous a lot. And you calmed me down.
May I say something? It's funny. You have to know people to be able to direct, and you treat different people differently. Now, George Burns playing God came in too reverential for me in the first scene, the first time he played with you, and I was trying to loosen him up and make him more comfortable. So I said to George, "Sing a little Red Rose Rag." And he said, "I want a red rose rag." And I said, "Roll it." And we started acting right after that. We relaxed him. Now, you had an energy level that was low one day, I remember. This is the funniest thing. I never knew he was going to do this. You got a little scoop. Could you do something? Would you mind?
This one do?
Yeah, that
depends.
No, I said, John, your energy's a little low. There was more energy in the scene before that, and now you're coming through the door, and you have to have the same energy. And I said, could you get your energy up a little? He says, yeah. Now, he's not an actor, so he's an athlete. So he used a skiing technique to get his energy up. I got hysterical. The cast thought he was crazy. Would you show us how you got your energy up?
Oh, man.
Can you do it?
Well, I don't know. I've got my
where over here, there.
weird boots on. This is I'll be safe.
No, he did it higher.
You do a thing to get your legs in shape for skiing, and basically it's.
Good. But he did it for 10 minutes. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Yeah, you guys want here?
But he did it on a high bench. It was twice as high as that, and he kept doing it. And he finally says, "Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready."
Well, you know, it gets everything pumping, and it gets your wind down sometimes.
Yeah,
so
well, whatever it is, it worked for you. It worked for you.
That's fun. It's a great exercise. You ought to try it, especially if you like skiing. Are you a skier at all?
No, I'm barely a walker. I can barely walk. I've started to jog again to keep my youth. It's slow, I think I'm jogging my youth away, though.
Is that it? I like that.
I go out feeling very good in the morning. I come home very old about 45 minutes later.
You play tennis a lot, don't you?
Oh, tennis. I must play tennis every weekend.
It seems like everybody in the world now is starting to play tennis.
Yes, even our president.
And I've not played before, so I'm going to take some lessons this month.
You'll probably be the way you went into acting with what did you say, 2 weeks of lessons with Jeff Corey, became an actor. I think about 4 hours of lessons you'll have it. This I've got to say, I've never seen an actor, well, you don't know that you can't do this. See, actors, sometimes you give them a change on the set. You say to an actor, gee, that first line is not working. Could you possibly say this instead? And you give him another line, and you say that third line in the speech is, take that out, and an actor will go in the corner and rehearse it. Now, John, I told John, I said, that doesn't sound right. Would you say this instead and say this? And John closes his eyes and says, got it. I said, well, wait, aren't you going to try it? No, got it. And he went out and he got it. He didn't know you're supposed to try it out first in your mouth. He didn't know that.
I love it. Have you directed any of your family in films? Have you directed Rob at all?
Rob, only once. We acted together in a thing called Good Heavens. And I didn't really direct him. We were acting together.
Yeah.
Oh, I did in Enter Laughing. He had a very small part. And he takes direction beautifully because he's a very good actor and he understands when you...
Is anybody else in the family show business inclined?
My son Lucas is a musician. He's a self-taught guitarist. Okay. Now he's noodling at the piano. And I just did another picture with Henry Winkler for Paramount called The One and Only, and we needed a temp track. So Lucas and his friend Jeff Smith wrote me a little song, and we put it on a temp track, and it's good. We're not going to use it because we got a composer to do the whole score, and I don't think he wants a 17-year-old kid's song in a picture.
Yeah.
So, but he's going to make it. He's got a very, very good musical talent.
That's great. And what are you involved in now? Are you working on another film? Or?
Well, right.
Can we do another film?
Oh boy, I'll sign up right this minute.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we have to find one. It's I've never had.
I want to be a cowboy.
What do you? You know, just a moment. Just a moment. Oh, just a moment. What do you mean you want to be a cowboy? You are a cowboy. As far as the world is concerned, you're a cowboy. You wear cowboy shirts, you walk like a cowboy, you talk like a cowboy.
Yeah, but not in that day and age, you know, doing the kind of things that they did. I would really like to do that.
Well, okay.
I also want to be
I'm going to look for a cowboy movie for you. I'm not kidding. I'm going to look for. I'm going to go out tomorrow and look for a cowboy.
Maybe a funny cowboy.
A funny cowboy.
Do you think that I could do anything doing, I don't know how to say it, when you do different roles that are more not yourself? Like I feel that I wasn't totally myself as Jerry Landers, but there were a lot of things really close there. Could I be a bad guy or anything like that?
Oh, sure, if you'd like to.
Think so? Maybe that's it. I wouldn't like to.
I don't think anybody would ever believe you as a bad guy. You'd probably shoot somebody in a picture and they'd say, yeah, he deserved it. I mean...
I did I did an audition once for Sam Peckinpah.
Yes. Oh, you could be...
When he did Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, which Chris Christopherson later on played, but I auditioned for the part of Billy the Kid in that movie. And the thing that I think he said is that I didn't look like a killer. Or something like that.
I think he's right.
You know.
You do have angers, though. You do get angry sometimes.
Yeah.
When was the last time you screamed out loud at anybody and said, did you ever do that?
Pretty much like that.
Yeah. Who did you do it? Did you do it to an inanimate thing because you stubbed your toe, or was it another human being who was frustrating you?
I stubbed my toe once. There was a boulder as I was walking down this hill, and I got unconscious or something and really stubbed my toe. And I have a bad right foot. I have two toes that are missing on that foot, and it's got to be the most sensitive part of my body. And I stubbed my toe, and I said, oh, the perversity of inanimate objects.
That's what you said?
No, that's not what I said. I said,
oh, you see? I want to see that part of you.
You do.
Well, in the movie, we see all those parts of you. We see that. We see you. I know you have anger in you because you're a total human being. If you didn't have anger in you, you couldn't be an actor, you couldn't be a singer, you couldn't be a composer, or a father, or a husband.
That's true. It takes all of those things, and it also takes a space in which you can let those things out, I think. So often in our society, people are told you can't do that. It's not good to be angry. That's one of the beautiful things about you. This guy, you know, he says things that nobody would ever say, but whatever comes to his mind, that's what comes out, and you're always willing to be yourself. I learned so much from you, Carl, that I hope I communicated that in that letter.
Sure
it was just an unforgettable experience for me. I'll never forget the time that we shared, and I'm happy. You know, it's like it doesn't make a difference to me in the world whether anybody sees the movie.
Exactly.
And I hope that everybody sees it. It's a wonderful movie. You know, George is going to be on the show Monday night. I'm hosting again Monday night, and George and Terry are going to be on the show, so I look forward to seeing them again.
Yeah, you said something that's very interesting, though, and I want to say this very sincerely, because my wife is an artist, and she paints. And when she finishes...
Estelle.
Estelle. When she finished her... She's had 4 one-woman shows, and when she finishes her work, which is the painting of a painting, she's not nervous anymore. She doesn't care whether people like it or dislike it or buy it or don't buy it, because that's what you do. And if you're totally satisfied, this picture, I am totally satisfied that we did what we should do. And the experience of doing it was fantastic. And knowing that it works, whether the audience is, maybe it's going to snow all over the country on October 2nd, and maybe nobody will see it, but it's there and I know it's good.
Yeah.
Really, all that matters.
I feel the same way, you know, when I finish a song. When the song is complete, you know when it's not complete, you know when it's not finished, and you know when you're faking it kind of. When the song is complete, it's a success for me. And whether people get what I was trying to say there, if I never communicate the emotion or the experience, whatever it is, the song does get to be complete, and then you can let it go, and then somehow magically you find that really allows people to get whatever they get, and it's a much expanded thing. You know, it gets to be more than it ever could have been if you were trying to get people to see this or see that in the film or in the movie or
all art is the same, as whether it's music, painting, theater.
Art allows people to see the truth about themselves. And that's my own personal definition of art, I guess. It creates a space in which you discover yourself. Sometimes, you know, you write a song. The thing that happens for me is that I write a song and people come up and say, wow, you know, that's what you were talking about, where you say this and this and this. And I say, yeah, that's absolutely it, man. Whatever they get is the truth about that song for them. And, gee, I love being part of that creative process, both on this end of it and observing what happens on that end of it. It's a beautiful circle to be involved in. We'll be back with our guests and more of the show. Carl and I were, before I bring out Valerie, Carl and I were just speaking about family, and I have a wonderful family that has grown and expanded to include 2 little children now. And it's beautiful to me to watch them together, and so much in my life has been made new by observing their first-hand experience of something for the very first time, and how they interrelate to each other. And what you said about... Can you remember what you said?
Well, you have 2 kids now, and you were saying, I was saying that the jealousies start yet,
right?
And you said, well, the older one, Zach, is starting to get feeling infringed upon at times. He wants something that the other one has, and I said it's very important to have those feelings of jealousy, those sibling feelings, because I said when you go out into the world, you're going to have other people who don't love you as much having. You might as well have them there where the parents can handle it, and you learn how to handle it by having it.
And that it's okay.
Yeah,
and that some things are somebody else's, and sometimes people aren't feeling good. Everything that happens in society, in the large sphere of our planet, happens first of all in the community of the family. And
including,
I love the family.
Including somebody stealing from you.
Yeah, right. Which is
little kid took my toy.
Valerie Harper is an Emmy award-winning actress, and she is starting her 4th year with Rhoda. She is a wonderful and dear friend. I'm proud to serve with her on the EST Advisory Board. There are many times we've been together, and I did a television show with her in Aspen, Colorado a couple of winters ago. That's going to be shown again, I think. It was wonderful. Please welcome Miss Valerie Harper.
Gee, I totally have a sensation of coming out into a living room. Really,
well,
with
good.
family.
That's
really.
the way this should be.
Yeah, it's delightful.
How are you tonight? You look beautiful. I don't have to ask how you are.
I feel great, and I feel I look good, which is nice. I spent a lot of years pretending I didn't look as well as I did.
Is that right?
Yeah. It kind of was a defense mechanism, I think.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people do that.
Where did that come from, do you think? Now, in retrospect, looking back.
It was sort of like you said, hello, I'm Valerie Harper, and I'm fat. You know, before they could say it. And meanwhile, I was 5 pounds overweight. It was kind of a way of dominating the situation or holding on to yourself.
Somebody once talked about this, and maybe we talked about it once, about everybody has that thing about themselves that they deplore.
That's right. Some have many.
Some people have many. And wouldn't it be great, you know, everybody, when you meet somebody, especially if you meet somebody you care about and you want to make an impression, if you could just come right and say, hi, I'm John Denver. I got these terrible cheekbones and a wide mouth, little squinty eyes, and but I'm happy to meet you. And then that's out of the way, so you don't have to be nervous anymore.
Yes. So. Hoping they don't notice.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
That's
oh,
great.
Gosh.
So you're doing great.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, and I must say, you know, it's not Plugola City. I would err. Is that the, how do you say that? Yeah. If I didn't say that I saw Oh God last night. And
you did?
Yeah, and the thing about a screening, and there were tons of comics and writers and people. They support and they judge. People within the industry, when you go to a screening, that's not a normal, just buying a ticket. So you're sitting there and you're watching, and often they can be deadly. But on the way out, everyone was smiling. A lot of hard-nosed Hollywood folks were loving you and loving Carl's work, and it was really a great evening.
It's wonderful.
And what the picture says is so great, because it's that God may have put us here, but we're all responsible, and we've been shirking.
That's exactly it. You know,
much shirking going on.
For quite a few years, we were sent scripts about different things and different offers to do, and that was the first one that came to me that meant anything to me, and it meant something to me because of what it says in the film. And I think in a very nice, easy, comfortable way that there is some truth put out there that people will remember inside themselves long after they forget the film. And it has to do with the world and the opportunity of the world to work, and that it is all there for us. And it's a wonderful movie. You're going to feel good. I am happy about it.
You laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And the point it makes is so clearly what... It's a point that needs to be stated because we all know it, but we don't admit it. I'm particularly interested well, for myself, life has opened up so since I came in touch with those things that I was putting in my own way.
Yes.
And the picture says, just get out of your own way, be what you really are, and nurture and support people around you. It's great. Anyway, I loved it.
Thank you.
Too.
That really pleased me.
And you were good. Your acting, his acting is good. It really is. He's really, I was watching.
I'm a singer.
Oh.
I'm a singer, not an actor. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
All that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe I get to do all of it, even those things that I'm not. I understand that you're taking singing lessons.
Yes, I
Is
have
that
been
right?
for about 14 years.
Really?
It's true. I go from teacher to teacher. They're all good. I get a little. I sing a little. And I sang on Broadway in shows when I was in the chorus. And
Oh.
you had to sing. And now I'm working with a new fellow that's terrific.
What do they tell you about singing?
Well,
I mean, something like
it's very much like life, that it is a natural process, and what singing lessons are giving me is just clearing away an editing process, getting the barriers to what is natural to occur.
You know, the thing, I read something recently, I think it's Barbara Streisand that did an interview in Playboy, and I think that she is simply one of the greatest singers that I've ever heard anywhere. The thing, and she never vocalizes, she said. She never cares about her singing. She didn't want to be a singer. She wanted to be an actress.
Really? Well,
And it blows me away because I have such problems with my voice. I have to exercise and get in shape when I go out on tour and everything like that. And I was
physical work, yeah. You get in touch
What do you do to stay in shape? You know, now you're starting your fourth
year.
Fourth year
Fourth
as-
season as Rhoda in the show Rhoda. It's actually my 8th season as the character.
As the character.
Because of the 4 years on Mary's show.
How do you feel about that?
Good. It feels all fresh and new this year.
Yeah?
Because I have a...
Sure, you dumped your husband.
And about 40 pounds. No, he weighs...
How did you do that?
It wasn't funny. The writers were having tremendous problems making the marriage funny.
Yeah?
And Rhoda seemed to be a more interesting and fun character, kind of just scuffling on her own. And I just recently was dieting very strenuously.
What kind of a diet?
Well, it was the liquid protein fast.
Yeah.
Dr. Lynn, my doctor, Dr. Lessler in Beverly Hills does it. And one thing I want to say about the liquid protein, you must do it with a physician. I really want to put that out.
dangerous, they say.
It's a radical medical procedure.
Well, I think
and
any
people
radical...
should do it with a doctor. And it's so odd because I've been very involved recently in the Hunger Project, about hunger, world hunger, starvation, and 15 million people are dying each year. I mean,
20 million people.
is it 20? Well, you know, that's a conservative estimate. Between 15 and 20, I'm sure. I always go to the most conservative number. And there I am resisting the food. And I know, Carl, you've dieted for
all my
all
life.
But if you really break it down, it's 21 children die every minute. 28 people. And that's an incredible thing to come...
Well, yeah, but also, that's not a reason to diet or to fast or anything.
No, not a reason. It just, I had to look at my thing about food in this context. I mean, it helped me. It just is, it's an irony in my life. That I care about that particular thing and that I'm dieting.
Yeah, this particular thing that Valerie and I are sharing is something that we kind of got involved in together, and I know a whole lot of other people who are working in the same area. And just to kind of let you in on a little bit, one of the things that I found out over the last 9 months in studying and looking at the world and my place in the world is that 20 million people do die every year from starvation. And that all of the, in recorded history, all of the wars, all of the violent acts, all of the confrontations have killed a little over 60 million people. And now, today, in this world that we live in, every 3 years sees that toll equalized through starvation. And I also found out that the earth produces more than enough food to feed everybody, all of the life on the planet. And somehow, if there's enough food and that many people are dying from starvation, we're not doing what we can do and what we ought to do, and maybe I'm not doing what I can do, and so one of the things that I want to do is talk about it whenever I get the chance, and I'm glad we had the chance to do that briefly here.
Yes.
We have a commercial coming up. We'll return right after. Television,
yes.
Working week after week. I find that television is very difficult for me to do when I've done specials, and to be myself in the framework of all of that's going on. And I wondered if, a special is kind of different from doing a weekly series.
Very, very different.
Does it get you crazy at all? Or?
Sometimes.
Why are you laughing, Carl?
Hey, because you were so sincere about it. Does it get you crazy? That's what you want to know. No, that's a funny way to put it. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, don't be. This is the man who's formed.
Well, it does get me crazy.
Well, a special's different. The special is crazy making. What happens with the series is going crazy serves no purpose.
Yeah.
See, on a special, going crazy sometimes serves a purpose, gets things done. But I don't know, it's like family time. Julie Kavner is the easiest person in the world to work with, and Nancy Walker's on the show now this year. So
how was it?
I get tired. I get tired when I have activities after, and I get pressed. It gets to be trying to work in conversations with my husband.
Yeah.
Like, Richard, I'll meet you at 8 o'clock. We'll talk for 20 minutes. Then I have to study. It's that kind of thing.
How was it working with all those people on the Mary Tyler Moore Show? I mean, one of the most beautiful
Phenomenal.
things I've ever seen was on the last, it seems to have happened a few times, on the last show that they did. And
Yes.
there was so much love there and so much directed, I think, including everybody, but so much directed at Mary Tyler Moore. I've only met her the time that we did the Emmy Award show together.
She creates an environment where love exists very easily. This one trained Mary, and then she passed.
That's right. You were on the
very unselfish and gives not only opportunity and support, but she wants for other people to be good. She wants the whole thing to work.
She does. She cares about the product so much. The situation in television is that you're a family. And after 5 or 7 years, the mutual enemy is the script. Mm-hmm. and the audience, not an enemy, but the one you're servicing. So you go through fights and just the way a family does. You scream and fight, but it's mainly as a family. So that after when you have a family that you love to see every day, you come to work, it's not the kind of terror of a special. A special is all strangers. Yeah. After 1 year, you're a family.
Exactly. And you know where you're going, and you know when it works and when it doesn't.
Yeah.
And our particular show, the emphasis, Charlotte Brown is now our executive producer, and the writers, their emphasis is on making the scenes work. We have some wonderful new actors on the show, Kenny McMillan and Raphael Campos and the people from last year. And when we're in a scene, they can give me notes, or they say, Val, why don't you try that? It's very by committee. I feel that's the best way, because you only have 5 days to get it together. And we fight sometimes,
Of course, you have to.
There's screaming, there's people in snits and stuff like that. But it doesn't get in the way of the work, and people don't harbor it. They say, gee, I'm sorry I was terrible today.
Because you have a deadline, the fight can last just so long.
Yeah.
You say, let's stop fighting, we got to go on the air.
Probably a good thing.